You going to start now by doing what I asked Jay to break down the defense after camp. What do you feel like the offense? Where do you feel like the offense is at now that camp's concluded?
I feel like we're, yes, boring answer, but I feel like we're right on schedule to be ready to play. We aren't ready quite yet, but we have a good team, and most of the install is in now. Pretty soon we're shifting gears towards our Sam Houston game plan. That'll be happening Thursday. And I like where we're at. We have a lot of depth. This is the deepest team offensively that we've had since I've been here. We might not have a Puka, per se, but I like our depth at every position, and I think we're more equipped to make it through the full season.
Along those lines, what is it that you feel like needs to be ironed out here before you get to that game one?
A couple of it, just sorting out a few position battles, and then also just we have a lot of new faces, good players, veteran players. We have several transfers who have started a lot of games, but we're still learning to play together in this system. And so each day there are little details that reveal themselves that we have to work through. But the good thing is we have so many veteran players that the guys are picking up on it fast. And I expect them to, be mid-season form, game one. That's the goal. We're not waiting around. We got to be ready to go right from the start.
Okay, we'll take a couple of questions from Jay Drew and then Mitch Harper.
Aaron, you mentioned last week that you might be ready to talk about the backup quarterback situation, have a depth chart there. Do you have that ready? Or
Yeah. So Keaton's our starter, and then it's a little bit we have a little bit of a unique situation at the backup. So Jake Retzloff is second with Cade Finnegan third. However, Cade has redshirted before, and Jake has not. And so depending on the situation throughout the season, we'll make decisions about who would go in first. And it would be great to say we can go the whole season and not burn Jake's red shirt. But you can't think like that. You just have to be ready to play and handle any situation that comes up. But there will be. And then I will say, Cade, man, my confidence level in him is so high right now compared to a year ago. Just a year ago he was still just learning and trying to stay healthy, and he was working through a lot of things. And Cade's had a really good camp. Feel like we can win with him. Feel like we can win with Jake, and really confident, obviously, in Keaton. He's had a great camp, and it looks like I expect him to play very well.
And then kind of the same question on the tight end spot. Everyone knows Isaac's the man there, but beyond that, do you have kind of a pecking order yet?
Yeah, Tava Taase is our number 2 guy right now. He's had a phenomenal camp. Can't say enough about him. He came in as our 8th tight end. Just asked for a chance to walk on and did a good job at Southern Utah. And Blair Peterson was the OC down there and had coached here with us for a few years. And Blair said good things about him. So we gave him an opportunity to walk on, and all he did was just shoot right up the depth chart. Every day he did something to get noticed. He's going to play a lot, and he's our number 2 guy right now. And then you'll also see a lot of Ray Paulo and Mason Fakahua. Those guys both are doing a lot of good things, and Jackson Bowers is coming on too. So we have Jackson and Ethan, who's played a little bit in the past, and Jackson has a really high ceiling, and he's not quite game ready yet, but we're going to get him there. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's a factor in this season. Just how quickly we can bring him along, we'll see. But talent-wise, he has a lot of ability, and I expect him to have a great career here.
Aaron, going back to the quarterback position, how do you feel just the overall growth of Retzlaff since springtime, and Finnegan, and maybe their potentials in this program, if ever called upon?
I think that they're both good enough to win games with, and for sure. Just start with Jake. I mean, he was phenomenal junior college player. He had an interesting high school career where he's played behind a good player for a couple of years, and then his senior year when he was going to get his chance at Corona Centennial, which is a powerhouse place, was COVID year. And so he ended up at a JC, and we watched him closely for a couple of years, and he played very, very well at that level, and no surprise to me, he's done a great job here, and he's a good player. And Cade, same thing. I mean, he's been in the program now for a bit, battled through some injuries and some things, but he's had a very good camp, had a great scrimmage on Saturday. He's very athletic. Guy can run. He's fast. Makes plays all over the field with his feet, and really happy with his decision making and stuff. So that's a tough call between those two, and who knows, that the way the season goes, there's a chance you could need all of them, and we've been there before where we've needed all three guys to win. So I'm glad we have them.
Go ahead, Jared.
Try to ask about same thing about the offensive line. You ready to run out your first five there?
We have three starters solidified right now. Obviously, Kingsley at left tackle, and then Paul Miley and Connor Pay will be starters as well. And we're certain about that. Those three guys will start. We're still working out, the full starting five and who will play where. Caleb Etienne has done a great job at right tackle, and I expect him to continue to progress there. And so there's still some things we're working through with different scenarios and different groups, and wouldn't be surprised if we play a few different guys in the first game or two. It's not ideal. You don't want to do that all year, but I think because the competition has been so good, and this is not an issue of not having anybody that's stepped up. It's an issue of having several good players that are really battling for spots. I mean, I don't want to forget somebody, but Waylon Lapua, who's had a good camp. Braden Kime's a good player. Ian Fitzgerald, he's a transfer who's done a really good job. Obviously, I mentioned Caleb. So there's some things to sort out there, and we have a couple of young players who are coming on too. So I know for sure those three guys will start. I think Caleb has a good chance to be a starter, and then we have to sort out who plays where, and how you sort all that out is still in the works. But it's a good group and good problem to have. That's a tough decision.
And then a big picture question for you, A-Rod. Just as you make this transition from camp to full-on game prep, what's it like to see the guys make that, kind of that switch and go from the camp mentality to that game prep?
It's a welcome change. We've had a great camp. It's fun to go against your own team every day. It's been fun to go against a different defense. We've seen a very different defense than what we've been practicing against the last several years. So every day has been an adventure. Just learning new things about what they're installing, different looks and pressures they've given us, and we try to give them a lot of stuff too. So that's been fun. But yeah, now we're at the point where it's nice to move on and start getting ready for an opponent. And I mentioned how many veteran players we have that have played in a lot of games, either here or at other schools. And I see those guys already anxious for game plan and anxious for film to study and tendencies to learn and those types of things. And so I enjoy that process, and we're about to dive deep into Sam Houston.
Okay, Mitch, follow-up question?
Yeah, Aaron, you mentioned Sam Houston. They redshirted a ton of players, but they seem to have quite a bit of experience in that defense. Just maybe your early impressions as a coordinator on Sam Houston, what they pose.
They were very good on defense last year statistically, and you watch the film, they're athletic, disruptive, aggressive, a lot of good players. They're talented, and they definitely are a defense that could make. I mean, they made Texas A&M look pretty bad last year. If you watch that film, they were disruptive in that game. So we'll have our hands full for sure, and I believe this is their first game at the Division I level. So their motivation should be really high to come in here and play great, and we would expect their best shot, and so we'll be ready, and we will not. There's no one in this program is looking past anybody. We're not. That's not going to happen. We're excited to play, and they are a good defense.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your time today.
Good to be here. Yep.